Okay, can you see it?
Let's hope you can. So, as I said, my name is Rasa, and here is Stefano, and we are representing ECO. ECO is a non-profit organization. We are working from Athens, Greece, and we work from 2013, and it makes us to have already 8-year experience in the field. And maybe some of you already know us because we are working in the field of Erasmus Plus. So we are organizing and implementing different projects. And what we do with this project, so our main focus in the projects in the field of Erasmus Plus is youth empowerment, human rights, social inclusion, intercultural dialogue, and youth work in general. And one of the most important priorities as well is sustainable development and green growth. That's why we are here today, and I would like to share with you a bit more about the projects in the field of the green growth. So as I said, we are working in the field of Erasmus Plus, and it has a lot of different opportunities like youth exchanges and partnership projects. So the youth exchanges that I hope you all know, and if you don't know, we really invite you to find out about it, because it's not just an opportunity to have fun, but for sure to learn new skills and get new knowledge. And in the field of the green growth, ECO hosted two youth exchanges, Green Citizen Solidarity for the Environment, and the aim of these projects and these youth exchanges was to inspire young people to become more active, to get more knowledge how to be eco-responsible, and how to change their daily habits in more eco-friendly way. There is one success story that we are very proud about. It's the Erasmus Plus Key Action 2 project. Partnership project, and in this project were 4 countries involved: it's Germany, Sweden, Italy, and Greece. And the project focused on the challenges, best practices, and education approaches that are relevant to the circular economy. And we are very happy to work with Dr. Ludwig, and that we will have today as a keynote speaker. And this project was led exactly by him, and as well Elif, who will provide us the workshop on zero waste. She was a part of this project as well. And one of the projects that are happening right now is Greenfluencers, and I will give the word to Stefano for it.
So, as Rasa just explained, Greenfluencers is an Erasmus Key Action 2 project that is going to be implemented in the following months. And the aim is to exchange good practices for youth in the field of environmentally related topics. The idea is to launch an environmental awareness campaign where young people can be trained and can be empowered in order to how to minimize and reduce our environmental impact on the society, local society where we live. Among the objectives of this project, we have sharing of good practices, promoting sustainability among young youth people, and also helping them to become more active citizens and to promote the change in the society. According to that, we also are going to spread the zero waste philosophy that is going to be explained by the workshop of We Go Zero, and the concept of circular economy that is going to be introduced by Dr. Ludwig. Moreover, we will try to find joint solution in the framework of environmental challenges as described as from the EU Green Deal just launched by the European Commission. Finally, we will try to promote a sustainable and healthy lifestyle and try to promote political policies, social policies, in order to tackle environmentally related topics on a local, regional, and European level. So the consortium for this project is made by 5 countries all over Europe, As you can see, the countries involved are Spain, Greece, Italy, Portugal, and Slovenia. Each one of them has a different expertise, and they will contribute on the project, starting a new activity. But at the end of the project, all of the countries will participate in every activities that will take place in every country. How are we going to achieve this goal? Basically, we will have three main points of our structure. We will have transnational meetings where the youth will be trained in order to conceptualize and theorize how to promote local activities that will be implemented through workshop by young people in order to empower their activeness pro the environment. And finally, there will be online meetings where there will be an exchange of ideas between the youth according to what they experience throughout the local work group, sorry, and the transnational meetings. So finally, we can have a timeline. As you can see, the project is supposed to last 18 months. Each of the transnational meeting will define the start of a new activity, and it will take place in each of the countries that we just mentioned before. So this will be the theoretical part. Then there will be, through the local group works, a practical approach with local activities that now Rasa will say a few more words. And at the end of both of the local group works, there will be an online meeting in order to evaluate how the project is going on.
Okay, and in the world right now where everybody would like to be influencers, we would like to invite you actually to become a green influencers. We as ECO are planning and organizing different activities at local level here in Athens. So those who are from Athens, you are very welcome to join us in the physical events like secondhand open air market, the excursion around green cities around the city, green places around the city. But for those who are not in Athens, you can still join and you can bring the change and change your habits as well by participating and taking the part in the activities that we will organize online, such as zero waste competitions and other things that we are preparing right now. So if you're interested, and I really hope you are, let's get in touch. It's very easy to reach us. You can find us on all social media, Facebook and Instagram for sure, or you can just send us an email and we will give you more information about it. And, for now, what we would like to just mention, I guess all of you already saw the program of today, but Stefano will remind it.
Okay, so after this brief introduction about what we do and our projects, we will leave the floor first to our keynote speaker, Dr. Ludwig, that is a very important figure in the international community, and we are very glad for him to have joined us. He doesn't need too much introduction because the job he did speaks for himself. And later on, there will be a question and answer session. So you will be you will have the time to ask any kind of question you want to address to Dr. Ludwig. Afterwards, we will move to the workshop managed by We Go Zero. That it's a new consultancy on zero waste, which we just started a new collaboration. And we are very happy and glad to have them here as well. As a speaker will be Elif. And at the end of that, if anyone wants to stay longer, we can have a brief discussion, debate, and we can just go a bit more deep into this very interesting topic. So thank you for all. And we leave the floor to Dr. Ludwig, and okay.
Yes, thank you very much, Stefano and Raza. So I hope you can see me now, and welcome to everybody in this group here. I'm happy to be here today. Thank you very much for the nice words you are always saying about me. I don't know whether I deserve it, but let's hope yes. Yeah. So we will see. Well, today I will speak to you about the topic circular economy. Yeah, everybody surely has heard about it, and everybody thinks something about it. So let's have a closer look at it. We tested this morning with Stefano that the connection from Bonn here is not so good. If I
will do it. I will do it.
Okay.
Tell me if you can see it.
Very good. Yes, I see it.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the topic again, introduction to circular economy. And circular economy is a very wide field with people having expectations about it. There are some political things about it, what the politics is planning or wanting, and so on and so on. But what is it all about? Let's go to this and continue with the first slide. Okay, principally, circular economy means that you take something out of the nature, you use it, and you bring it back to nature, and then this deposit in the nature leads to another possibility to take something out of nature, make a product out of it, and then lead the articles, lead the materials, lead the natural resources in a circle. So if you look at the left side of this slide, you see that we are actually in our economy. On using mainly the linear way to consume, to get use of products. There you see, for example, is a bottle, and the bottle is produced out of, let's say, plastics or of glass, and you transport it then to the consumer, and the consumer throw it away after use, and it's just rubbish. And in most countries of the world, actually, rubbish lands on landfills, and which means a lot of waste is dumped on sites. So the new idea how to change this is to change the approach of using things, which means, okay, for first you have to start with creating products out of materials like the bottle from glass or plastics produced mainly by crude oil or on gas products, and then you transport it to the user. He uses the product, but he can also, but now you have new approaches away from the consumer to the waste disposal can be different. You can build several cycles. You can use the materials after usage in more ways. Like you can share the bottle, you can repair it if it is broken. Well, maybe the bottle is not the best example here, but you can reuse it, which means you can refill beverages in it. You can recycle it, which means you make new secondary material out of it, or you can remanufacture things, which means that, for example, recycle is more like you break everything down in little parts and put it in industrial processes again to reuse it. But remanufacture means that you could take, for example, parts of the product, of the bottle or whatever, and make new products out of it, which means not to go as low as down as on the ground level, but a level in between. And sometimes products are even so much used that you just have to throw them away, which still leads there. Sorry. Okay, which still leads to the disposal on a landfill or wherever. Okay, so we go to the next slide, please. So this sounded all very technical and something which is not really in our hands, or which is complicated and where we do have to learn a lot, and it doesn't really show us why we should go for a circular economy. It shows us only that maybe, okay, we should prevent the production of waste, of overloading landfills, but in reality we have enough deserts, so we could throw everything in big holes and nobody would see it anymore. So this is just a question of logistics. But the circular economy thinking and the concept is much more. What does it mean? The idea is not that we are fans of fancy technological processes, but if you look at the left picture on the top, we want to live in a nice nature, in a nice environment, nice and clean. We want to have raw materials where the flowing water stands for in the middle top picture. We want to secure that we have enough raw materials for our living. And if you look at the nice okonomiyaki on the right plate there top, we want to have enough food to eat and always full plates that we can survive. So nice nature, enough raw materials, and enough food on the dish, on the plates. Yeah, but if you look at the bottom line, what are we faced with? So if we go the linear way and if we don't create a more circular philosophy, then we don't have a nice environment. We see this terrible waste, like we see on the left side down, or the raw materials from nature. They are going to be too few. We will have no access to enough raw materials, and maybe get thirsty in this example for the water, but take it also for oil, take it also for food, for grain, for other materials, for copper or whatever. And this all ends up very dramatically, if you want so, on an empty plate, which means starving, having hunger, and so on. Very hard to imagine for people from our countries, but reality in many parts of the world already now. And so if you go to the next slide. So the European Union did accept that this is a problem and that we have to go in an economical way in the future, which protects our nature, which gives us a nice nature, which gives us enough raw materials for usage for us and our next generations, and also enough food for everybody in the future and now. And how to do it? Well, if you look at the linear economy at the moment, it is very consumptive, and the circles which I showed you in the first slide, they are not realized yet. So the linear way is still a way which is the main way we produce and we consume. And but if you look at the Commission, they say, okay, we have to see this also in the context of the climate change, and the definition, the United Nations and the European Union, they defined this as the next 10 years will be the make or break decade, which means if we don't manage to realize a circular economy, then within the next 10 years, then it is hard to predict whether we can secure a nice nature and enough food and enough raw materials for us and the future nature, the future generations. So here, this was pointed out at a conference of the United Nations, together with the European Union, and also by President of the Commission, Ursula von der Leyen. This is very clear. But the problem with this is, if we go to the next slide, the problem is how to do it, and how to reach a sustainable and resilient economy. Well, you see, we have to deal with, when we deal with our consumption, we deal with products, with materials, and with energy. Energy is needed to create products, to transport them, and even to consume them. And materials are used for products. And to get materials, which are sub-products under products, you need energy again. And if you produce waste, well, then waste materials go lost. They disappear. But, and this is the only idea the Commission and the national legislations had until now, now is that the waste management sector should be the solution for a circular economy, the main solution. They should take the materials out of waste and make products out of it again. But as you see in this little picture here, I call it resurrection of waste, and it's like the holy flow of material getting from something very mixed and dumped into very nice new products we all want to have, or we all need. If you go to the next slide, please. Well, the Commission, especially in Europe, the EU, they saw the holy grail at the moment in mainly recycling rates. They say, okay, everything which is used will be dumped, will become waste. So let us talk about recycling rates. And recycling rates means if we would have 100% recycling, we would have a perfect circular economy. This was mainly formulated like this in the EU directive of 2015, and many national legislations, several legislations, took this over and focused on waste management and recycling rates when they created national circular economy laws. But these circular economy laws, they did let out other aspects like producers and whatever. I come to this later. So now let us look together at the picture on the left. This is the upper left. This is a typical collection of plastics sorted out in a complicated process on conveyor belts in a very dirty fabric, a very dirty industrial site. And they bale this to big packages, and these big packages then go to actually mostly they go to dump sites or incinerator plants. But theoretically, then after having been recycled, they go to other fabrics and they produce little grains, little new raw materials, like you see on the picture down. Grains of plastics, which you can then put again into extruders, machines, or whatever, and then produce out of this the products you see on the big picture on the top. You know, a box or several things there. Well, look at all these things. You probably always wished every day in your life having made out of these nice plastic scrap on the left side. So do you think that, well, if you think that a circular economy leads mainly to the products you see there on this picture, look closely to these products, then you really can sleep so nice like the cat in the picture below, which is actually my cat. But we go to the next picture, please. Okay, so you see, in circular economy, we have to deal with a lot of views and expectations, but we still have a lot of obstacles and concepts. And I wish that the philosophers we see on this picture would be still alive to help us coming out of this dilemma. Well, you see, the first thing is consumption pattern. If you what do you want to consume? I showed this you with the products on the other side. So if you speak about, yeah, running everything around in circles, are we coming then to really products satisfying our consumption patterns? Do we really want these products? Do we want upcycling, downcycling, thus just to make use of materials? The best thing would be always if you could use the same material for the same products, but this is nearly nowhere the case. Yeah. So industry is still very much online. They look at the what can they produce, what are their abilities, what can they throw on markets. It's also creating wishes. How does circular economy cope with wishes, consumer wishes, and also temptation of consumers for new wishes, because you want to sell something, you want to as industry, you want to sell your products. Producers, if they look at the if they expect very fine and good raw materials they can buy on markets, but and they expect that circular economy brings it to them. That they can buy these products, but products usually are not available for most of the producers. They still have to use raw materials out of the nature to have a hand to have enough materials for their products. So recycling, as I pointed out, politics they set on recycling, because they think that if you can recycle everything, then we have enough raw materials for the future. It's the same with urban mining, where you go into dump sites and you dig in landfills for materials you could use, but how much do you get out of there, and in what quality, and is it contaminated or not? Very difficult, so mainly everybody is doing a business as usual and trying to do a little bit talking about circular economy instead of having a hand on it, instead of really planning it, instead of making a vision for their businesses. And on the other side, okay, you can have activism. But activism is something that you find also combined with politics. You make laws. You speak out expectations, but they are not proven in relation to reality. They are more wishes and hopes, and so activism should always be combined with something like an offer, what to do, and this cannot just be technological progress. Politics sets very much on technological progress, but technological progress, okay, it has a certain probability, but there's no security that you reach technical progress which can handle everything. Or technical progress, yes, maybe you can throw everything in a big vessel and do some chemical recycling, and you get nice streams of whatever out of it, products, but at what costs? Because I have to remind you, products, materials, energy is an important factor in circular economy. With a never-ending or enough energy supply, much more is possible than if energy itself is restricted. And until now, energy is restricted because we don't have enough renewable energy on the planet yet, even to fulfill our normal everyday's nowadays economical needs. And also sometimes you have very funny flowers. As we say flowers, well, it's not the right word maybe in English, but if you mix green, if you mix oil of rape oil with diesel to run cars, and you say now we have some circular, some green energy which we use in big masses. 10% is in several fuels here for cars in Germany is rape oil mixed with crude oil, but still 90% is crude oil. So not a real solution. Maybe you have created a market for something, but we didn't get any further on the way to a circular economy to fulfill our expectations. So total change is, I heard something, which means we have to change totally our way of living and whatever. But how should this be? Stop heating our houses in Middle Europe in winter and freeze? Well, this is a total change. Yes, so we still have to keep our needs in the focus if we speak about circular economy, and we should not just demand change because this is if we demand change, we demand it from somebody else. This is what Fridays for Future is doing. They are putting pressure on politics. Yeah, but they have a misunderstanding. They think politics has solutions, but they don't have. And so this is a question of, can I and do I have the power to change something, and do I have the abilities and the know-how? And we should not go and on the other side you have people frustrating or people who ignore a problem that maybe the plate will be empty in the near future. And I talk this at me not too like denying I don't have to do anything because I cannot do anything and I have to wait till the system changes. Okay, so this was a hard sheet. We go to the next one, please. Okay, so what shall we do? What does it mean to people, to everybody of you? Well, I would like to give you some recommendations, and the recommendation is not to wait on others. Look at your own powers. So if you are a producer, well, probably producers are not here in this circle, but if you are a producer, what can you really get out of the circle? Where can you connect your production to a circular economy? If you are a consumer, how can I influence with my money, with my power, because my shopping power is something which enables me to go for more circular economy. And public sector entities, well, I'm very disappointed about them because they would have a very high possibility to influence and to go for circular economy and also other green things, but they don't use it. They still go for let's spend as few taxpayers' money for public need as we could, and if you go to tenders, usually the cheapest solution wins, and this leads very often to a problem that the cheapest solution at the beginning is then a costly solution afterwards. And know-how owners, if you have a know-how on some sector, use it. Yeah, just don't say me not too, but I know, but me too, I know. This would be the way to go. Actually, this is what I like about also Elif's approach and Vigo Zero. You will see this later, that they don't just say this is a way to go. This is a possibility. You can choose it, and like a public relations activity. But they have even a box you will learn about later, or some tools you can use. Okay, we go to the next one, please. And this is what you can do. You can use your power, and you all can use your ability to learn. And this is, thank you very much to everybody from all the countries who are joining in today, because you came here to learn. And this is something which we human beings can do. We can learn, and that should we do. I think we have a duty to learn, and a duty not to ignore, because ignorance and looking away makes the bad big. And in means of a circular economy, if we look away, and if we don't learn about it, and if we don't try to contribute to it, to use it, to go along with our own powers, we risk severe damage in a few years. And be bold. It is not easy in the surrounding of people who are skeptical or whatever to go for your way, to introduce something. So you have to be very brave and bold to set things in force you want to do. Actually, from Erasmus to people, and you are here active people. I think you know what I'm speaking about, because you are already probably are in this, and you are already bold, and you try to do your best to do something good. And use tools. Well, maybe not the tools which you see here, but circular economy, there are already a set of tools available to approach, to come closer to the target of circular economy. And that is something I can present you on the next sheet, please. Okay, and the circular economy tools, well, even the European Union, the Commission, has brought a set of tools on its way. And it's a shame in the communication of the European Union that people don't know about it. Yeah, I just showed here some of their propositions, of their toolkits, and which could be used by public entities, which could be used by consumers, which could be used by companies, which could be used by producers. We have here, for example, levels. Well, if you want to build a house, you can do this in a sustainable and circular way, building sustainable performance. This is for the housing sector. ETV is environmental technology verification to see how much this is green and attaches to the circular economy. PEF-OF goes along with footprints, and Ecolabel is also a tool which can be used to get more know-how about the products and the background. Are they circular or not? EMAS, the Eco Management and Audit Scheme, and the Green Public Procurement. This is a toolkit in many languages, and I'm ashamed that all municipalities around me here in my fellow country where I'm sitting don't have any knowledge about it and are not using it. Very ashamed, but I have to criticize a little bit the European Commission that they are not very good in marketing these things. Just put them up on web pages is not enough. And this is also a hint I want to give you. If you are working in international Erasmus Plus projects, try also to influence your local community, inform them about your product, about your projects, and let them know, or at least your relatives or your surrounding. Well, then, for you as consumers, and this is probably mostly what you have power, consumption, we have created in the project, which was already mentioned by Rasa and Stefano in the SCRCE project, the SCRCE Awareness Manual, which actually we finished to set up in Athens at our transnational meeting with Eco Greece. And you have here also the web page where you can read how to use it, and you can download the manual there. It's unfortunately at the moment only available in English, but when times comes, I hope we can translate it in other languages. Actually, this is a blog on Epale, and if you click on this link, and I think Stefano, you can send this, and Raza, you can send this presentation if you like to all participants. Then they have the websites, and
Yes.
yeah, and this was written by Efi, the blog article, and I think she's also today in here. Well, actually, you can exercise zero waste. That's one way to avoid the linear way of consumption, and you will learn about this from Elif later on, so I don't want to go here. And look at the national environmental offices and national initiatives in your country. They provide everywhere in the European Union. You will find a huge amount of materials out of projects, initiatives, Erasmus Plus toolkits or whatever, which you could use. And hey, you can search as well, which means I don't need to feed you everything. Be aware that you can find everything, a lot to every thing, every question, and this concerning circular economy, sustainable way of living. There was so much work done. It now has only to be used. So look for it and be happy and go on. Let's go to the next slide, please. And so a dream should come true. What is the recompensation for all of your efforts? So if you go if you support circular economy, if you support more green way of living, then you can survive. You will enjoy the beauty and the happiness of our life, and you can further make computer games. You can go buy a car. You can traveling. Shopping is still in, meeting friends, etc. So the thing is, everybody has another consumption pattern. So it cannot be ideological what you do, but maybe not all of your consumption patterns need to be different. You have to look at your consumption patterns and look at them and say, okay, this is what I really need, and this is not what I need. And if you say, okay, I need transportation, okay, I can do it by car or by bus or whatever. But then you still say, okay, I want to do it by car, but maybe I don't need a car with whatever. Yeah, maybe you want to have it, but then go away. Maybe the toothbrush is not so important for you, and you can buy a sustainable toothbrush. So look at your consumption patterns. This is my recommendation. The point is, you will know what is good for you, and use the tools to see if it fits to all of us in order to go for a good and nice future. Okay, we go to the next page. Well, do we still have time? This is a double question. The question is, can we still reach our aims in a circular economy? But here I was not sure how much time I would have needed until now. So Stefano, Raza, do we still have time for 5 minutes or?
Yes, we do.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so then this question I can answer with yes. So we still have time in circular economy and in this presentation. And so I want to give you just a few look on the manual we have created in the SCRCE project, because it's something you can already use now. So the question is, are you living in a circular economic lifestyle in a global world, which means that you are in your life confronted with products, services, or processes Well, let's make it easy. We look at products. So you are confronted with products, and the product, this could be a t-shirt, a shampoo, an apple, a car, whatever. And well, a service is streaming media. You see here several things you will see when you look at the manual. But let's make it easy for products. We go to the next slide, please. So what we did set up in the awareness manual, which is just three pages long. So not a book of 500 pages, but something applicable. Then we have found out 14 principles when to look at in your daily life in order to realize or to contribute to circular economy and to make to secure to help secure our future, if you want so. And here I have put 3 principles just as examples. Principle number 3. So if you buy a product which is seasonal, you can only get it in summer or winter or in daytime or nighttime, then this is of favor because the production costs too much energy or uses too much materials, more than it is needed. If you produce strawberries in winter, you need too much energy, too much efforts, too much materials, warming lamps or glass houses or whatever, than in summer when you can just have it on the plain fields in agriculture. So a seasonal product is in general more circular than if you buy it in a season when it is normally not available in nature. But then if you see, this is not this cannot be seen like an ideological, always valid principle. So we have done some sub items. So if you look at sub items, yeah, you have to see whether the production of the product takes really place in the season. It should take place when it has the lowest impact on CO2 emissions. Yeah, but does the product come out of storage because it was produced in another season? Or is the product seasonal in your local setting, or does it come from far away? So it could be a seasonal product like apples in New Zealand, and you buy them in winter in Germany. Then of course it's a seasonal product in New Zealand, but is it in your place? Or we look at the other principles. Principle 9, everything which is refillable or returnable as a multi-way product, then which could be a bottle, which could be refilled. Yeah, but then you have to look, does the product contain elements or materials that are harmful to the environment, which means, okay, maybe you have a product which is refillable in theory, but it would harm you due to its toxic character. Or are the factories, industries, and production chains energy efficient? Does an ecological alternative exist to replace refillable or returnable multi-way products, like you could eat a bottle or so? Yeah, then you would have a bottle which is eatable. Let's say like this: you buy a cola, which is very healthy, and in an eatable bottle. Well, then an eatable bottle which would have a nice taste afterwards. Yeah, also very abstruse, but you see how complex it is. And you cannot do this for millions of products, but you have with the 14 principles at least an idea of how to introduce it in your own daily life. Principle 14. Let's look at the third example. Everything which can be separated into constituent parts, fractioned when it becomes waste. Yeah, well, if you have a mobile phone, for example, and you cannot put it in parts, then it cannot be recycled in the waste management sector anymore. It will just be melted in or whatever with high energy. But if you could take parts out of it to use it for remanufacturing, somewhere, then this would be a good thing. Yeah. So so mobile phones usually are not separatable into different parts. Well, cars, for example, to a certain extent, yes, you take parts of cars out of this. Yeah. So find your own patterns in order to see how you can apply these principles to your daily life. And if someone does it, please let me know what you found out, because then we can better it, and we can also write a new article about users. So this is something we intend to do in the future, to write an article about what people found out about using this manual. Actually, the flowers on the right side are there just to give you a more nice picture when you look at this sheet. And the reason is that circular economy, if you hear this term, it is connected too much to technology, to technological expectations, to the big system, to the question, what can I do about it? But the reality is, it is all about having the chance in the future to look in a clean and nice environment, for example, at these nice tulips. So we can have the next sheet. And that's it. You have, okay, now my saying, Q&A, you have now the say. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much from all of us, I guess. It was very interesting, as usual, I would say, and it was very engaging. So thanks a lot for the presentation and for this overview of circular economy. That is actually something that is growing more and more, meaning that many people are talking about this topic in the last years. So I guess we can leave the floor for questions, and in case I can, like, you can write it in the chat, or you can just raise your hand virtually and ask a question. So
yeah, also I personally cannot use the chat because I'm here in a guest status in Teams. So if someone wants to ask something, just open your microphone, maybe. Yeah, because.
So I will start with a question then, because it's really interesting. So we talked a lot about the circular economy, and it's certainly very fascinating somehow. Not somehow, actually, totally. But the point is that we always talk about circular economy and how to apply it in a Western world, meaning European Union, or like if we go also to the US. But how can we make sure that these principles and these concepts can be spread throughout like other areas, maybe disadvantages area, that it doesn't mean that it has to be like Africa, but it even like a peripheral area of, I don't know, just comes to my mind, Moldavia or like Romania, like in the periphery. So how can we take part in that? What can we do also to promote it?
Yeah, very good question, Stefano. Yes, well, you know, the problem is we are, okay. I don't want to make it too big because this could be a speech for another hour. But the thing is that we need a new economical treaty worldwide. Because circular economy doesn't make sense in a global world not to be global. We have to bring as much things as possible on a local level. which means, but that means also that in several economies in the south, in Africa, for example, we are faced with industrial production or agricultural production, which is mainly for world markets, and they import even food what they could produce on a local level. So these are, as I told you, this could be a long speech now, yeah. But the thing is that, or look at China. We have a huge exchange of products from China to Europe and backwards, and we cannot. But the products produced in China become waste in Europe, and vice versa. So how to bring producers together using the waste? They have, it was in their responsibility due to their products, and when they are so far away, yeah. And so I really, to summarize this very complex thing, I see really a chance in circular economy to come to a new worldwide treaty, and to speak about how to set up supply chains, and what is really to be shipped and what not, and so on. Yeah, also we cannot do business as usual, and even in the Corona crisis there was so much shipment still, and we sell here from Germany millions of tons of pork meat to China. And China is the main supplier for vegetable, for fruit in Europe. Yeah. So if you buy, for example, a frozen cake, and there is some strawberries in there, very probable these strawberries are coming from China. Yeah. Even in the Tetra Pak apple juice you buy in every supermarket, 70% of it comes from China. So this doesn't make sense. And if we say, okay, buy something where you can use the parts again after it becomes waste, then it does make only sense if the parts then go to the producer. But if the producer's in China, well, you know, this is very difficult, and a huge effort will be needed to solve this. But I really say we need a new economical treaty worldwide, and I see a chance in this. I would see a chance in this because probably I'm crying just against the wall. I see a chance in this that we can overcome also poverty problems in the world, because if everybody is somehow integrated in a circular economy and has its role with possibilities to change the role. Yeah, so it's now getting even more complicated. Then we could then I could see a bright future. Let's say like this. Yeah.
Thank you. I know that it's a bit complicated to answer in such a short time for such a question, because we could talk for hours. But I see that Kitty once raised her hand, and also like from IDC. No, you have questions? Go on, Kitty.
First of all, I would like to thank you, Volker, for this fascinating presentation and for this fascinating answer, because the more we go in depth in this context, the more fascinated we can become. You have already answered my first question, which is how optimistic you are, having all this expertise and going deep into the field. And if you see that there is a green light in the tunnel, you have already answered that you see that there is a treaty which can be formed, etc., and that you are optimistic. But I would like to raise this question. How is it possible to fortify, to guarantee that we can go 2 steps forward and 1 step backwards? Because experience has shown in this weird situation where we all live with the coronavirus, for example, that circular economy, circular use of all this material, masks, injections, etc., was something unexpected and something which we were not able to manage. This kind of obstacles, this kind of unforeseen situations lie ahead of us. I'm not so optimistic to say that this was something, Corona was something which will come to an end and then we will not face any other obstacles. So how can we guarantee that instead of going 2 steps backwards, we can go 2 steps forward? It's not a question addressed to you, it's a question addressed to everybody, because we saw that something happened, okay, something very, very unlikely, but here we are in a situation where we cannot deal. And the planet has been destroyed, not just because of the pandemic and of the deaths that we have, but because of all this rubbish which is being collected and has filled the seas and the land and everything, and which is not which cannot be used in a second way, in a circular way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can say something shortly to this. Well, actually, yes. Well, if you have now products which are just one-time use, we still can burn them because we still have heating purposes and need burning energy on the world. This is still a possibility, and we have to look at the quantities. And I don't think that even though these quantities are now seem to be very, very, very high, in reality they are just residual. Yeah, if you look at other products and other circulating things, and I think that we should also, what we should do is also that we should understand us much more than Europeans and work together on this. And and I think that the European Union can have a real impact on this, because they are the only ones in the world really now talking about a make or break decade. And I see many stakeholders also from industry and so on having problems not understanding what they should do now. So the idea what should be done has to be more discussed. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I hope that we can use the Corona pandemic to show the difficulties and to say we cannot allow us to go on like this on this topic.
Okay, so now I would say that maybe we can move to the workshop of LEAF, and then we will come back to any further questions. So maybe we can merge both topics. So I would leave the floor to LEAF, and thanking once again for Dr. Ludwig for the engaging, enthusiastic presentation.
Thank you, Stefano and Raza, and thank you, Echo, for one more time hosting me, having me here. It's always a pleasure to share this stage with Volker as well. And the topic circular economy and zero waste are quite relative topics, and you will understand soon why I said that. So I will be sharing my screen. And I need your confirmation if it works. Yes?
Yes.
Perfect. So, welcome to Zero Waste 101 workshop. During next 40 minutes, we make sure that you learn all the basics about zero waste and zero waste lifestyle. So our aim to explore your zero waste potential with us today. During our program, I would ask you to keep your smartphone next to you, because we will scan QR codes. It is going to be an interactive workshop, hopefully, with your participation. participating. And then I need your smiley faces because during the next 40 minutes, we will talk about possible solution for the future generations. So our agenda for this workshop, we shortly define zero waste. And also I will be explaining 5 principles of zero waste. Then I will ask you to exchange your experience and knowledge since you are from different countries. And then we shortly we will be talking about your takeaways, and there will be chance for you to challenge me with your questions. So let's start. If it's possible, please scan this QR code. And now I have to change my screen as well. And I want you to answer the question of what is zero waste for you? So you can type 3 words and that you find related and connected with the topic. Do you need me to share this QR code one more time? There we go. Is it working for everybody?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't receive the... Okay, perfect. So donation, recycling, reuse.
Sorry, I was too slowly with the QR code.
Sure. Here we go. Okay. I count from 5 to 0. 5, 4. This is the last chance. 3, 2, 1. We're back. Okay. Recycling, reuse, donation, minimize, refuse, recycle. Okay, any other answer? Okay, they are quite similar, and actually some of them are the principles of zero waste. And yeah. Okay, I wait 15 more seconds, let's say. And I think the Mentimeter is slow today as well. Okay, so we move on. Yeah, you are right. Those terms are quite relevant with the topic of the term zero waste. But let me also explain you what is zero waste. So as Dr. Walker mentioned, we failed of waste management, and our current system is linear system, which is take, use, and throw. Caused the global climate crisis, the pollution, the poverty, hunger, and many more certain problems that you also know and that we currently face. So zero waste actually could be thought of as a movement to solve those certain problems in personal and in the global level in the future. We will see the results in the future. So zero waste refers to a lifestyle that is neither harmful for environment nor for human health. So we refer, when we say zero waste, we actually refer lifestyle, which is also mean mindset. So, but how did it all start? Where this term come from? The zero waste movement actually first appeared about 20 years ago in New Zealand. While intentionally, intentionally, the waste management of the companies and governments was the focus in this approach. But then Bea Johnson stated the feasibility of a zero waste home. This is also name of her book. And she proved that these practices actually can be easily applied to our daily lives. And the principles that she mentioned in her book, if we follow each principle in order, it is possible to reduce the waste to the lowest possible amount. So in easy words, with zero waste, we send nothing to the landfill. And let's see what are those principles. So we have 5 main principles. Every principle should be followed, as I said before, in order. So refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle, and rot. And let me explain in detail what I mean when I say refuse. So, we live in a consumption world, like everybody consume more than what they need. And here the refuse is actually play a key role to prevent this overconsumption in personal level. So everything starts outside of the house. And if we achieve to say no, and if we refuse many products that are packaged or that those we don't need, we actually do not create the waste, the garbage from the beginning. So the purpose of refusing is waste prevention, and also understanding what you really need. So we have this 5 weeks adaptation cycle program, and we practice each principle for a week. And I ask people to check their refusal list. So I ask them to create a refuse list. You can also practice that at home by yourself. And by refusing the products, then you can understand if you really needed that product. And by this way, we could understand your essential needs. Because the aim with zero waste approach, we are trying to consume only the essentials. And by refusing, that could be a chance for you to understand your essential needs. And also, you can recognize your daily consumption. Because we just take and we are not conscious many times what we are doing on a daily basis. But by refusing, actually, you invite your consciousness that moment, and then you could understand, that was a possible consumption, which also means waste in the end. And by refusing, you can also create the impact from the beginning, and your power is saying no, your power to companies, your power to current system. If you say no, then you will be on the side that you show you don't approve the current system or the production way. So I would ask you to scan this code, which is the same presentation anyway, and take 1 minute and think about what would be your refuse mantra. So when I say refuse mantra, I mean that like there is, let's say you go to shopping and because that's what happens, they automatically put the products that you buy into a plastic bag and they just give it to you. So that moment, you have chance to say no. So what it would be your refuse mantra? So let's hear from you, and the same QR code you can use, and I wait for 5 seconds again. With this practice, you can also, because now by the end of this event, I'm sure you will have chance to say no, you will have chance to refuse some possible consumptions. And after this practice, you can just recall your refuse mantra and start using it everywhere you remember and you need to refuse something. No plastic bags. Okay. For example, I say directly, I don't use plastic things, or my colleague says like, I take care of the future generations. So this way, I want you to make a sentence that what would you say that moment that you have chance to say no? Improve your own way. I think this person just start yelling single use and run away. Okay. I wonder if the QR code is working. Or we are just three people enjoy with menti today. All right, I don't force you. Ah, perfect. Process is good, like, okay. Whoever wrote this wants to speak about it.
Yes, I did write it. Actually, sorry, I'm the doctor here, so I write the biggest nonsense. Actually, I wanted to say processed food like lasagna, which is already ready-made and packed. Yeah, so this was this. I was thinking what would be my refuse mantra, and I say no to this all the time.
Yeah, okay. So okay, that's great. That I hope you all understand how to refuse something and what we do when we say refusing. What I refer with refusing. So each principle we remind you to pay attention some critical points. So I would say keep refusing. In the beginning it's bitter, but then you will harvest the sweetest sustainable fruit. And so the second principle is reducing. So the things that we cannot refuse could be reduced at least. I can give you one example from Hong Kong. I had a chance to consult one person from Hong Kong, and she has really willing. She wants to change her life, but it's not possible because she's pregnant. It's not possible to refuse all the plastic packaged products. So there are some essential needs and consumptions that she needs to do again. So what we find out is she could buy in big package. That way she could reduce the waste as much as possible. So the reduce could be seen from different perspectives, but the main point is to having this mindset. If I cannot refuse this, can I somehow reduce this consumption habit? And so we also mean that we could declutter our space and reduce our belongings and have more space for ourselves. So as I said in the beginning, zero waste lifestyle actually should be something good for human health as well. It's a lifestyle that we also be mindful about our health. So it refers the mind, how you say, well-being as well. So the psychological health. So my approach is seeing the whole picture with more holistic approach, because our consumption habits actually comes from our not fulfilled wishes. So once you simplify your life, you will see that there is more space for you and for your health, and it's good. It's something good for your well-being. That's why we also promote simplifying and reducing your belongings for your health as well. And also, of course, that will serve for the economic system and support the idea of making change towards zero waste. So what we do when we declutter or sort our belongings, we could donate, give away these items that we don't need anymore. So in that point, I would like you to stand up if it's possible and have a look around you and find out 3 items that you haven't used last 2 months. Because let's be honest ourselves, we are not gonna use those items anymore if we didn't use last 2 months that means they're actually not our very essential needs. So for that, let's see what you could donate or give away. You can scan this QR code again, and I will welcome you here. Okay, 5 more seconds. I believe it's enough. You can also, if you cannot scan the code, you can also go to the website and use this code right here, 56065147. Place, TV, chairs, okay. Yeah, and also that's another point that I was thinking today early. There are some products, especially in the kitchen, that we have because everybody else have, like garlic press. I never use a garlic press actually. Or there are some items that we just keep them out of guilt. Actually, we don't use, but I don't know, maybe it was given as a present before, but it's really not serving for you, but it could serve for someone else. Scissors, vase, pot, radio, earphones, yeah. So you know what to donate from now on. Big spoon, yeah. And yeah, big spoon remind me these spatulas that we have bunch of them, like 5 kinds of spatulas, but they all serve for the same purpose, but we can only use one at the same time. So yeah, those questions hopefully will help you to see the items that you have in a different way. So you could have chance to question the purpose of the item, the reason of the consumption. So the aim is here to make sure you are getting one step closer to this mindset. So I would say you can ask those questions to yourself oftenly to find out what you really need and what you can give away later on again. So I skipped this question, and then yeah, and we shortly mentioned what to pay attention. As I said, being honest to yourself about what you really need, and finding out what are the reasons that you keep this item. Is it out of guilt? Is it like you have an emotional connection, or you keep it because everybody else has it? So that would be attention point. So the next principle is the third principle, reuse, which I already spoiled about my surprise in the beginning, but time to show you. Reuse is actually the purpose of reuse principle. Reusing the previous principles, for sure, yeah, we should keep remembering these first 2 principles, because as I said, and I would love to remind you one more time, it is only possible to minimize your waste if you follow each principle in order. So you refuse, you reduce, and now you can reuse the items that you already have. So repurposing the items is another way to reuse the items, or the upcycling the items. So I want you to find an alternative 3 items that you can replace with reusables or more sustainable options. Because with this, in the idea of zero waste, we could pay attention to use more sustainable products instead of harming the environment. Because let's give an example about toothbrush. So the toothbrush is something that we need to consume as long as we are alive, right? So it's possible to not. It's possible to refuse the plastic one, but choose the more sustainable options. Or you need to drink water. It is possible to replace your plastic bottle with more sustainable lifelong options, such as I'm holding one in my hand. I don't know if you see me, by the way. Do you see me? Because I'm going to show some other products that could be sustainable.
Since you're sharing your screen with us, we cannot see you, we can see your screen.
Okay, so I will stop sharing my screen and then show you some products here. Did I stop sharing already?
Yes, but the camera is off, I guess.
Perfect, okay. All right, so yeah, I was showing my reusable bottle as an alternative product, which I think it's getting more popular to take one with you wherever you go. And okay, in Greece, you might be refused, and they could say like, no, because of Corona, we cannot refill your reusable, but insist that moment, I would say, because eventually they definitely accept. And or share your reason why you're doing it, so that way you could influence others, or at least they could have an idea about your reason. All right, so the other alternative options, sustainable alternatives, I would say this is my favorite in the kitchen. I don't know what is it called, but it helps you to have all the ingredients, like everything, that there's no food left in the bowl or in the pot. So this is my favorite zero waste spatula, let's say, and I would suggest everyone to have one. And so this is a bag that I take with me when I go to shopping. So I don't buy plastic packaged product. I don't need to also, when I go to bulk shopping, I don't need to use their paper or plastic package as well. I just take that with me and refill it as much as I want, and I know that I can go to home, put it in a glass jar, and then this is ready to reuse again. And I have for the cleaning, this is a soap from Turkey, which I am from, and I know the producer, and it smells awesome. It's not chemical. So there are some alternatives that you can refuse chemical ingredients and products for cleaning purpose, and you can just use one soap for many reasons. For example, you can use this for dishwashing, or you can even clean the floor with a little bit vinegar and essential oils, which are the details. If you wonder, I can share more. But I don't need several different kinds of products to clean my house, and each part I need different product. I just use one thing. And this is a dry brush, which is good for your health. As I said, zero waste lifestyle promote the health, human health as well. But the important point that I'm showing, I don't mean that, hey, I would do dry brush before I take shower. It's not my point, but I am carrying this and showing you today because after I finish with dry brushing, I could clean it very well, and then I could use it for vegetable brushing, because it's just a brush that it could be multi-purpose, serve for multi-purpose. And then these are my essential needs. One is a toothpaste that I make at home. I use some simple ingredients, which I also use for cleaning, and I can also eat them. So it's quite, sustainable. And so the baking soda and coconut oil and the essential oils. If you like mint, I would suggest mint. Easy, 3 ingredients. And this is a body lotion. It can be used for lip balm or like face cream, etc. This is one of the essential oils that you can refill. There are some stations that you can refill essential oils, and they last at least 4 months. And this, girls, for you, it's a clothing pad, is an alternative menstrual product. And it's healthy and handmade and sustainable and local production. So there are many alternative solutions if you want to replace your single-use items with the sustainable ones. And I will be here to answer your questions if you like to ask. And we can find out your essential needs if they could be replaced with sustainable ones. By the way, this is a loofah and I clean the entire place with that, even my body sometimes. Not the same one, I have the other one. Okay. So let's see your answers in that case. Yeah. This is the first question. This is my second question for you. The same QR code here. 7 seconds this time.
Can you share the screen?
Yeah, sorry, I was so confident that I'm sharing my screen. All right. Is it okay now? Do I share my screen now?
Yes.
All right, perfect. This is the QR code. I wait 7 seconds. All right, now here we go. I believe everybody scanned the code. Reusable notebook, glass cans from bins. Yeah, so plastic bottle, shopping bag, coffee cup, toothbrush, plastic. Yeah, plastic bag is just so simple item that you can just carry one thing like this, but you cannot see me. I just forgot it again. Okay, just a bag. All right. Yeah, so you will find out once you start refusing, you will try to understand, okay, but I need that, but it's plastic or it's single use. So then you will start looking for the alternatives, because then you will understand what shouldn't be consumed. So as I said, all the principles are quite connected with each other, and then that's why it's important to remember first 3 principles. So let's go back. Thank you for your time and effort to answering these questions. By the way. So we completed the reuse, and yeah, okay. The pay attention point, actually, rethinking for other purposes, quite important. And recycle, it's a huge topic. Everybody knows we have been, let's say, cheated, I would say, for many years that recycling is a solution. But today I would say to you, the recycling is the last very option for us. So you refuse every possible, although it is recyclable material, you refuse it in the beginning. Then you reduced, and then you reused. And if it's not possible to reuse this item anymore, or upcycle this item anymore, or this item won't be used for for others, then we see if it's recyclable, we send it to these very lovely recyclable centers. But we need to make sure that is working well. So I would say it's our responsibility to communicate with our municipalities and make sure their own recycling process. And because did you know that each municipality, I'm not even talking about the cities, each municipalities have their own way of recycling, and it is not possible to recycle each recyclable materials in each municipality or in each recycle centers. So it's a huge topic, super complicated, to be honest. I find out after I start reading a lot about this. So I would definitely advise you to contact with local recycling points, and even if it's necessary, take one step further and create a group of people who works on it, because it's quite important and there is a huge misunderstanding around recycling. So the purpose of this principle, let's go back, it's we should be aware of, and we should recognize the recyclable materials and then make sure they are doing the process in a correct way. But although if they don't recycle, I'm so sorry, urgently, I need 5 seconds. So sorry, I need to mute myself. Give me 5 seconds.
Some kind of technical issues appear for Liv. Let's wait those seconds she asked for us.
In case we can, like if someone needs to do, like go to the bathroom, maybe 1 second. We will wait for Liv.
I am so sorry. I have a technical problem right now. I need you to give me 5 seconds that I could change the position and I continue from where I am. Is it possible that I have to do that?
Yes, I guess we can take to just minutes, and then whenever you're ready.
Just 5 seconds.
I will help you.
Yeah, maybe I can jump in for a few seconds. This is interesting what Aleph says, that we have been treated over years that recycling would be a solution. And this is really something where a trap in what many politicians did fall. Also recycling is a solution if it's done in a correct way, but nobody really knows what is the correct way. And the problem is also that if you have recycling streams, then you have to see that that there must be a market for the products coming out of recycling facilities. So the waste management sector will only recycle what they can sell. And if there's no demand or no producers who feel responsible to use these materials again, or even producers producing products which could not be really recycled, then this is a problem. Yeah, but we have to. But the market it cannot be the task for the waste management, for the ones who get the old stuff, that they have also to market the products. No, there must be a self demand, so that then we would have a circular economy. Yeah, we do have this in for glass, for example, or we do have this for paper, but we don't have it for many other streams. Yeah, so these are the remarks. Yeah, I don't know. And actually, we start here to have thunderstorms in Bonn, so I see some lightning there. So if I drop out, then you know why.
We hope anyway you're gonna be safe, even the thunderstorm is coming.
All right, so I'm back. I'm so sorry for this inconvenient situation, and I'm ready to continue. By the way, I heard you, Walker, and I appreciate for contribution, and I agree totally agree what you said, but it was what I meant in the beginning is about recycling. It's kind of greenwashing that what they did so far. So it was like, okay, this material is recyclable, and then you can consume it. We will make sure this is going to be processed in a correct way, but they didn't take their responsibility, most of the companies, and then result we know. All right, so I think now I can once again share my screen, and once again I apologize for this inconvenient situation. All right, so recycle. Here, I would say as a homework to you, think of one company that you would like to positively influence, which means you could send them a mail, which I will make sure that you will have one of our templates by the end of the event, the presentation. But you could here the purpose is the reaching the companies directly as a consumer, and being able to communicate with them and showing them that there is a demand towards more sustainable production way. So it's like you can simply say, hey, you know, I love your products. Let's say for me it's the almond milk because that's the only packaged product that I use. So I already sent to few companies that I say, hey, look, it's awesome what you do, but your packaging is not sustainable. You could remove this plastic part. You could do this, and I would be more happy. And this is one way of being responsible consumer and showing the demand, as I said before. So it would be nice if you also do that. You can use our templates, or you can send your own letter to them or the mail to them, and just to show your demand, and that way you could also understand what changes it would be happen, and to make your life more easy, and you could still follow your ethic when you consume something. And okay, and another homework for you could be investigating your trash and then sort your waste and recognize what recyclable items you can find in your trash bin, and can you keep them separate? So can you separate your trash, or if you do already, you can, as I said before, talk with your municipality and make sure they are being recycled. And so the pay attention point here, you can ask yourself if it's the last option to recycle this material, or could you reuse it or upcycle it. So this way I refer once again to the previous principles and underline each principle are connected. And so if there is we will have question and answer part later. So I'll move on with the last very principle, which is rotting with another word. It is composting. So once you follow the first four principles, you would only have the organic leftovers, which are compostable. You can compost it. Okay, huge question. But I live in a tiny apartment. How it's possible to do compost? I tried that. Maybe some of you tried that, and you end up with many bugs around the house, or flies and the smell. But I would say there are some solutions for you, which is actually one of the popular solutions nowadays is called bokashi composting, and it is not that big, but it's like you can have it in your kitchen. There are two more steps after you compost with this bean. You could just take the how you say the leftovers after 1 week or every month once, and bury them in a garden, and then it's kind of completed the life cycle and ready to be back to the soil for good. So the idea of composting is closing the loops, which is Dr. Walker mentioned. The idea of circular economy is the same, the closing the loops, making a circular action inside the economy, and that way we could be more sustainable. And the same in our individual lives, we could actually close the loop, and we, instead of taking, using, and throwing, we could take, use, and send back to the nature in order to regenerate it, not to harm it. So the composting is helping. The idea of composting is actually a way to regenerate the soil, and also giving back to it, like what we had. And in that point, I would suggest you to follow one product's life cycle that you consume daily. For example, with the easy way, you could ask yourself, where does eggs or avocados come from? Like, what are the steps until you eat it, or the watch that you have? You could just shortly imagine the whole process of this item, and until it comes to you, and before you throw it away. That way you could understand and maybe more conscious about your consumption habits. And you can also search for local composting communities. I am sure that you will find something. Or otherwise, I will tell you a story shortly. In Corfu, one of the Greek islands that I was visiting last week, and I very impressed what they did. They were so their landfill was full, and they were looking for another landfill in the island, which is not possible to create this space, because there are some instructions that the houses should be placed at least, I don't remember correctly, but 2 kilometers away. And then, yeah, there are some certain rules to have the landfill in a place. So, and none of the options are possible for Corfu anymore. So they started to take an action about composting, because most of the trash they have is organic leftovers, like the food leftovers. So they made an agreement with the school, and they had these bins every Thursday, as I remember. There's one person voluntarily working there, and they collect the whole communities, the locals' leftovers, organic waste, and they had a place in their garden. Still, it's voluntarily, and they start composting these materials. And this way, they had the tight connection with the local people, and then it also spread the idea to the other neighborhoods. So the other neighborhoods in the same island, they also started doing this, and the awareness got bigger in the island. And this way they believe they fight with the municipality and the waste problem. So it's not in the beginning, it might make you feel uncomfortable, or you could think, oh, it's a huge thing to start, but I am sure that you will find out it is the easiest way to start to make a change. So okay, I spoke too much again. Shortly, I mentioned what's the important point here. During Rotting Week, you can pay attention to specific product cycles, as we mentioned before, and the products you buy designed. What are the products you buy designed for? So it's also understanding the products we use and get to know those items. So your turn this time. I spoke so much, as I said before. I would love you to share some examples from your local area, or from your country. You could answer some of the questions here that I wrote for you, or you can share your own experience, no matter what is related to it. I mean, around the topic again.
Leaf, what
Yes.
what would you think about, like, I don't know how many slides do you have left? Maybe we can
Yeah, we can also, yeah, I don't have too much things, sorry, too much slides left. Let me see. Yeah, it's that, that's it actually. So I will just shortly mention what are the takeaways from today, and if there are some questions for me, I would love to answer them. And there's one QR code that is for you to be able to download some materials that you can start your zero waste journey easily.
Okay, perfect. So I would say the takeaway part now, and then maybe we see if there are questions. I mean, we still
Yeah,
start
sure.
later, but
Perfect. Good.
to share the screen again, or
Yeah. So yeah. All right. So here, the reason today I took my place and shared this presentation with you to spread the word zero waste, because I highly believe that that's the only way for us to start making change, with the examples that I mentioned earlier, finding the sustainable options, being more conscious about our consumption habits could be a great starting point. And also we could take the one step further and start influencing others. But I know from the experience, people copy the behaviors. So if you want to see a change, you should be this change first, and then people will be influenced automatically without you don't need to make something specific even. Yeah, I was trying to share some information, some ways for you to start your zero waste journey right away, such as finding your refusing mantra. I hope you be able to recall it and enjoy when you say no next time, instead of feeling a little bit shame. And okay, so we know that the accessibility to zero waste products are not so visible. It's not so easy to find a way, but you can always search for the local communities. There are some Facebook groups, and now you know me. You can always ask us some questions, and we would love to be happy. And this is your takeaway gift, and you can scan this QR code, and there's a Google Drive folder, and you will be able to see there are some swap lists that you can start your journey.
Can you share the screen? Sorry.
Didn't I? Okay.
Okay.
Oh, me and my relationship with technology, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Happens to
All right,
everyone.
here are QR code. Now it's okay, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Perfect. So the QR code, feel free to download everything you wish to see. Yeah. And I'm ready to answer your questions. Please challenge me.
Okay, I will have, if you want to stop sharing. So,
Yeah, if there are some people that they couldn't reach the QR code, then we could send with the mail again. Thank you for your time and attention. It was lovely.
Thank you.
thank you for this nice explanation. I guess not everyone knew about zero waste, but at least now we can have some more information about. So I would leave the floor to someone if he or she wants to ask for some question. And okay.
Yeah, I would like to ask something. Can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes.
can.
Oh, great. I would like to ask you, what is the best way, in your opinion, to approach someone who is not familiar with the sustainable way of living? Like, for example, a friend who is always buying in a day 5 cups of coffee, and he always uses plastic cups. How can I approach this person without being without making them feeling pressure?
Very nice question. So I would say that first thing that I do to influence other people, I buy a bamboo toothbrush and make it very sweet for them, and they could see that they are like, oh, okay, it's still the same thing, and that they don't feel some pressure. It's just a gift from me, and next time they need to buy new product, they will like remember this option. So in your case, I would say that buy a reusable cup, maybe with his favorite or her favorite color. And then the point is, there are two challenges with this example. One, they always forget to carry with them, and there is nothing that you can do. Maybe you can remind every time you go out, hey, don't forget your reusable, we will need it because we go for coffee. And then the second obstacle that I would say people think as an obstacle, the reaction of the other person. So they don't know how to give this reusable cup to the barista and ask for refilling instead of yeah, it's really somehow it's not usual thing that we do, and it's a change of habit. So it's not going to be easy. First of all, we need to accept that, and we should not be judgmental to this situation. And so, as I said before, be the example. Do it with your like with comfort. Be confident and do it, and then show there is nothing gonna happen when you give your reusable cup and ask for refill. Yeah. So to say a thing, be the example, and the second thing, you can give a reusable cup as a present.
Thank you.
And also you can share some facts, but I don't know, it might be irritating for people, like how many plastic since like 1950 we produce over 8 billion plastic, and only 12% is recycled. So it's a huge fact that people might be, influenced, and like they could maybe think, oh, okay, there are some consequences behind it, because our problem is we are not connected with the consequences of our actions.
Thank you. That was helpful.
If nobody else has the question, I have one. And I would like to address it to Dr. Walker, and I would like to ask your opinion in general about circular economy, and how do you see the future in the next decade, in the next 10 years, where we are moving with this, and what we can reach with this, with all the tools that that we are using right now, how our daily life like would change, like just ideas how you see it in 10 years, for example.
Okay, yes, this is a glass bowl question. I have to look into a glass bowl. Very difficult to say, but actually it took now several years to go and to start the journey on circular economy, and maybe and now with the make and or break decade, there is some consciousness in politics and in society, and it could go on a good way in reducing consumption and in reducing the consumption of materials, and make longer suitable products, like a washing machine that it really can stand for 25 years or so. As we had made a good progress in energy efficiency of everyday products. There's not much ability left to make it even more efficient in the future, but now we can prolong it. It will depend actually not on the technology or on things like this, but on the system change. It will depend on whether we can find new business models, and whether we can accept that we don't need to consume as fast as we are used to do it now. So it's a huge education campaign as well. If we can like this today, now we have about 20, 25 people listening to this. As we need to reach more people, then something can happen.
Okay, so I guess that if there are no further questions,
Or maybe there is.
Or maybe there are.
There are, yeah.
Let's see.
Okay, looks like no.
Okay, so it was.
It means that we did pretty good job. Everything is clear, and so
Yeah.
but knows it.
Actually, I would like to add something. I would like to add that I think that very soon the pressure will be higher to go for more circular economy. Yes, as in Corfu, the landfill is full. Yeah, actually, there are many problems like this, and the pressure will be higher. So let's hope they listen to us experts and that we get more chances to do education, set this up, introduce it into schools, formal education, for example. That would be helpful. Yeah. Also, the good thing is we know how to do it, but now we how to change it. But now we have to fight against mainly political and emotional obstacles. And these political obstacles is if you look at circular economy, it's much more planning economy like it was used in Eastern Bloc in the communist time. And this can give obstacles that people will be reminded to this, and they say then, oh, this is a new communistic model or so. It isn't. It's a question of survival. So it's now a question of more planning of in a free world environment. Yeah, even though most of the world is not free anymore. But this is another question. So a new economic treaty worldwide, this has to come. And we have to look at our everyday lives to put a little bit more pressure on it.
Absolutely. And thank you very much. So I think that we can close the session here. I would like to thank once again the speaker. It was very interesting. So thank you very much from all of ECO's team. And yes, so
thank you for all who attended our webinar. And there is one small note that I would like to say, that after the webinar, we would like to send you and receive your answers on the survey that you just did while you register for the webinar. We believe that it would be quite interesting to see if we have any changes in the answers. And of course, you will receive the certificate of participation on our webinar. So thank you one more time, Dr. Ludwig, Elif, and all who attended.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.